And hey, guess what? For once, I actually remembered to update the game. Oh my god, I updated the game. That hasn't happened in years. Instead of, clicking on it the moment we're supposed to start and realizing like, oh shit, I have to update. No, I actually did it. Yeah, surprise, surprise. I have no idea if new information's come out. Okay, the fact that we can't skip this means that new information has come out. So yeah, we're getting in like 3 weeks, I think? It's the final festival. The grand festival. Oh, now we can skip. I figured they were... Probably next week they announced... Because next week, I'm pretty sure, is the special salmon run. Which they may already be building up to. I don't know. I know they usually, like, put out some posters and whatnot to be like, hey, special salmon run. So my guess is they're building up towards it slowly and surely. But we got the new salmon run. Then I think there's a week break. And then it's the final Splatfest. The season ends tomorrow. So that's right around the corner. I guess I should switch it over to the intro. So yeah, we got a lot to do in Splatoon. Outfit, this is what I'm currently rocking. So I'm like 90% sure when I upgrade this shirt, it should have 3 ink save remains, but I might have completely miscalculated. I'm not entirely sure. The boots and the shirt though are fine. And then I was using the Dread Ringer. I've been messing around with a few different weapons. And I was using the Dread Ringer, and I'm being honest, like, we'll mess around with it. But I've just gotten so used to the Tri-Slosher's 3-slosh attack that, going to the Dread Ringer's, 2-shot that's a very, like, vertical line. I'm just not nearly as good with it. Yeah. Our goal, either by tonight or, I'll finish it tomorrow. I want to get to level 50, right? There's a special level 50 hood that looks really cool. I want it. I'm like 42 or something like that. So I'm a little ways away, but I think I'll be able to get it. So, what are we talking about tonight? We actually have a bunch of shit to talk about tonight. Right, I mentioned last week that kind of the end of Gamescom is kind of when everything starts picking up again. Right, the start of Gamescom, right, is kind of when... Because June and July and August tend to be dry spells when it comes to gaming news. Right, nobody really announces anything until... from the end of E3 up until Gamescom. Like, that's just how it's always been, right? As someone who's been doing this show since, what, 2018? That's just kind of how it's always been. So, right, I don't expect anything, alright, I didn't expect anything for August. Which is why we did the WIBE show, why I stole some bits from Kinda Funny, and now here we are in almost September in 2 days. And yeah, things are looking a lot better. Because yeah, so we have both an Indie World and a Nintendo Direct this week. So we have 2 big showcases, which is great. We have an Echoes of Wisdom trailer that came out early this morning. We have a new Mario Party trailer that really is just a character reveal. And then we got the Sonic 3 trailer, which I do want to talk about. And then we got the some PS5 Pro stuff. Because, it's still every week there's new console details. And supposedly the PS5 Pro will be revealed in the next week or so. Next week or two. Sometime in early September is what the rumors are saying. Oh, you lucky son of a gun. But yeah, that's... And then, I don't think I have anything for WIBE, if I'm being honest. Like, I have a food thing we gotta talk about. At least one food thing. Actually, maybe two. Maybe two, because I don't think we... I cannot remember if we talked about the pizza. It was one of those things where it's like, I think we talked about it either last week or 2 weeks ago, and I didn't write it down in my notes, so I genuinely have no idea if we talked about the pizza. But we gotta talk about the pizza, and we gotta talk about Freddy's, the ice cream place, right? The steak burger ice cream place. Not the Five Nights kind of Freddy's. And so we gotta talk about those two things. Oh, we got Superman! Oh, I didn't even write that down in my notes. We have Superman red and blue. Oh, I'm gonna write that down right now just so that I don't forget. Red and blue. Yeah, we lost that. So I guess let's just get into things. So last week, there was all these rumors about a Nintendo Direct. And I had kind of been like, you know, if we're gonna get a Nintendo Direct in August, it's not gonna be a Nintendo Direct. It's gonna be a Partner Presents or a Nintendo Direct Mini. Turns out I was right. It was going to be a Partner Presents. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. The other thing I said, though, last week, if you were paying attention, was I mentioned that, hey, you know what else is around the corner? PAX. And you know what we usually get right before a PAX? An Indie World. And so Nintendo, when they announced their Direct, like, you know, like the rumors had suggested, they also announced it at the same, right before the Direct, and basically they combined both shows into one. They're doing an Indie World. So we got both a Nintendo Direct in an Indie World in a single showcase. And so we're going to talk about both. I'm going to talk about Indie World first, because that's the order it aired. It's funny, because Nintendo was like, oh yeah, we're going to do a Partner Presents in an Indie World. And then they aired an Indie World and a Partner Presents. They did it backwards, but honestly, I'm fine with that, because I prefer the Indie World. So I did get my reaction to this thing out. That video's up on YouTube, because I did not stream it. It was too fucking early, and I was like, you know what, whatever. I'll just record some shitty audio of it, and then get that onto YouTube, because I still don't have access to Premiere Pro. Like, fuck me, you know, fuck me. But, you know, there's nothing I can do about that. But, you know, I was able to get I was able to get audio, I was able to combine it with footage. Plus, I also put my reaction to the song trailer, because that also came out earlier that morning. So I was like, yeah, you know what, let's throw all three into one video. Why not? Because, you know, that's the type of thing I do. So, I'm not going to go through everything in the indie world. I'm only going to go through the stuff I care about. Same thing with the Partner Presents. But I will say, for the indie world, there are a lot of things I'm even kind of interested in, whereas the Partner Presents I cared a lot less about. Like, there was a lot less in the Partner Presents that interested me, but in the indie world there was a ton of stuff. Gosh, are we both out? We were both out there. So the Partner Presents started off, or the indie world started off with Balatro. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's a card game. It's like a game about like cards and getting jokers. I don't know. I've never played it, but it is kind of the indie critical darling this year. Because right, every year there are two major indie games: the indie critical darling and the weird fluke indie hit. Balatro, I would say, is the indie critical darling this year. I don't know what the fluke indie hit is, admittedly. Like, at least for me personally, it's Thank Goodness You're Here. But I don't think Thank Goodness You're Here has as massive appeal as, like, Pizza Tower does. Which right now, Pizza Tower is doing pretty good. Or, like, Pizza Tower, when it was the fluke indie hit of its year, either 1 or 2 years ago, I kind of don't remember. Right, that one was very popular. Right, like last year's critical indie darling was Dave the Diver, which is ironic because Dave the Diver wasn't an indie game. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah, Balattro's getting some DLC. They're getting a Dave the Diver DLC, which again, technically not an indie game, but I've heard it's a fantastic game. I do technically own it, and I will play it at some point. Some point before they get rid of that Godzilla DLC. I will play it. I just don't know when they're getting rid of that Godzilla DLC. Because, yeah, I've heard Dave the Diver's a great game. They're doing The Witcher. They're doing a Witcher crossover. That sounds fantastic. You know, I know people like The Witcher. I know Gwent is a big fucking deal, so that makes sense. Vampire Survivors. Vampire Survivors, you could argue, was the critical indie darling 2 years ago. Because I know that's the game that everyone was talking about. Well, yeah, 2 years ago. That sounds right. And then, finally, Among Us, which I would argue is a fluke indie hit. Fuck, I did do my math wrong. I don't know where I fucked up my math there. I fucked it up somehow, and I don't know how. Because that was supposed to get us a third thing. Oh, God damn it. Whatever. So yeah, I think all of those crossovers, it looks like they're probably just like skins. Right? Like, it doesn't look like they're full on, I can't believe I fucked up that shirt. I probably started that shirt like 6 months ago, and then just completely fucked it up right now. But yeah, no, Dave the Diver, Among Us, Vampire Survivors, and The Witcher, all great crossovers. They hint that they're going to do more in the future. I don't know. I've heard Balatro is a great game. I will play it one of these days. I just don't know when. Because it is on Switch. Like, I could play it right now if I wanted to. It's just I haven't. Next up, we got Neva. Neva is the game made by the developers of Gris. Gris was a game that I thought was fine. I wasn't, like, I know some people really like it. I was not blown away by Gris like some people were, but I thought it was a fine game. And yeah, their new game, Neva, looks fantastic. So I hope they learn kind of from Gris's shortcomings, and, you know, they're able to make something a little more interesting, you know, a little bit more solid. And I totally think they can. Like, that's the thing. I totally see the potential for something great here. So I'm excited for that. We got Moth Cubit. This was a game where you're playing as, like, this weird... It reminds me very much of, like, something Binding of the Isaac McMullen would do. Where you're, like, in this you're this moth in this, like, bug office building, and there's some sort of mystery or something going on. I don't know. It looks kind of weird, but I could see it being interesting. And, right, that Binding of Isaac style way, I could see it, you know, being sort of charming. I don't know, honestly, I've heard, like, nobody talk about this game, but that's not, like, a bad thing. Coffee Talk Tokyo. Coffee Talk, the first game anyways, I've heard great things about. Right, the first Coffee Talk I remember hearing people praise years ago. And it's been on my Switch wish list for probably years now. It's one of those games I'm always like, oh, one day I'll pick this up. But I never actually have. But I've heard great things, and yeah, the new installment looks, you know, just as solid as all the previous ones. At least from what I remember about hearing about the previous game. I don't know, someone with more knowledge than me could probably say more about it. But I've heard good things about Coffee Talk. We got Power Wash Simulator is getting Shrek DLC. You know, okay, so... You know how, like, people, when talking about the Mortal Kombat DLCs, they're constantly like, hey, Mortal Kombat is Smash Bros. If your dad chose all the characters, right? If your, like, Gen X father chose who got in as the DLC. Power Wash Simulator feels like, hey, what if we let memes choose the DLC? Because, you know, we got a SpongeBob DLC, now we got a Shrek DLC. It's just, it's very weird, but man, is it kind of charming and fun. I actually really do like the idea of a Shrek DLC. It looks very colorful. It looks very fun. I think it's a great idea. You know, I'm totally down for Shrek DLC for Power Wash Simulator. I don't know, Power Wash Simulator is one of those games that I do like, but I also feel like I'm wasting just so much time as I play it. Like, I feel like I get... Like, I feel like... You know, when I at least play other games, I feel like I'm doing something, whereas with Power Wash Simulator, I'm just power washing, and I feel like there's so much more I could be doing, right? Like, even when I'm just playing Splatoon, at least number go up, whereas in Power Wash, you're just power washing. God, I was like, that's close, but... We have not won a single game tonight. God, we're getting our asses kicked. We got Sea of Stars DLC. Again, Sea of Stars is a fantastic RPG from everything I heard. I know that game came out last year. And yeah, the new DLC, I think it's, I think you're at a carnival? That sounds right in my head. You're at a carnival. It's called, Throes of the Watchmaker. It's doing something interesting. It comes out spring of next year. Sea of Stars, again, if I ever get caught up on my RPG backlog, which is like 1,000 hours worth of games, I'll get around to it. I don't know, I'll tell you it's not on the bottom of my RPG backlog, which is like Persona 5, because, while I know that's an amazing game, it's also 100 hours long, and I don't have that kind of time. Which is why it consistently goes back to the bottom. Meanwhile, Super Mario RPG keeps rising to the top, because that one's only like 15. Same thing with Live Alive, also only like 15 hours. Not that I've played either one of those, because I just don't play RPGs. But if I ever did, those would be at the top. We got Morsels. Morsels is a very weird game. The art style reminds me of the second Hedgehog game, which I don't think it's the same developer. But it's a weird roguelike. You're like playing as like a cat. You know, it's got your like Gungeon inspiration. I'd say Gungeon's like the closest thing it kind of reminds me of. That or, again, Isaac. But it's a very weird, kind of gross game. Kind of like Isaac. But, you know, it could be good. It could be good and interesting. It's not like I'm going to write it off or anything. Like, at least it's doing something. You know? Which is more than I can say about a lot of other games. Date Everything. This is a game I remember hearing about a few weeks ago. Where it's like, hey, it's a dating sim where you're in a house and every object in your house is dateable. And I think that is such a weird premise, but I cannot help but find that super interesting. Because, you know, we're kind of in a golden age of indie dating sims right now. At least here in the West. I don't know what's going on in the Japan scene. Because that's a whole different beast of burden. But in the West, yeah, we've got, over the past few years, we have gotten some great dating sims. Of course, the only one of them I have actually ever played was Speed Dating for Ghosts, which I liked Speed Dating for Ghosts, you know. If you've ever seen Jaden Animation's video on it, I think that's a pretty good kind of example of what the game's like, you know. But yeah, I'm not a big dating sim guy, but, you know, other than I've played Speed Dating for Ghosts, I own Monster Prom, but I've never played it. I probably also own Dream Daddy, but I've also never played it. But no, I think there are some good games. There are some really good indie dating sims out there right now. But I'm just not a big dating sim guy, but like I might be. Like, you know, you never know, right? I mainly think of the Podquisition, where Laura K. Dale talks about dating. Like, that's the only reason I ever picked up Speed Dating for Ghosts. And there was one other, I swear, that she mentions in that show, where I was like, oh, that sounds interesting, but I cannot for the life of me remember what it was. But I was like, yeah, it wasn't the soda can dating one. Only Cans or whatever that one was called. I don't remember. I know there are other good indie dating sims, and yeah, Date Everything is just kind of that weird amount of flavor where I'm like, yeah, this is a fun idea. The fact that it's fully voice acted is really neat as well. Like, that's a lot of effort to put in, especially when you're able to... There's, what, like 100 different suitors? So that's kind of wild. But I'm kind of interested, you know? Joke's on you, I'm into it. We got Peglin. So Peglin is Peggle, but you're a little goblin, and it's a roguelite RPG. I remember playing the demo for Peglin. I don't think I played the Game Jam version, because I know it was originally from a Game Jam. I might have played the Game Jam version. I honestly cannot remember. If I hadn't, that wouldn't surprise me, but if I did, that also wouldn't surprise me. Because I loved Peggle. Right? Like, I'm not as big on it as, like, Doug is nowadays. Because I really only play it once every, like, I guess, at this point, 5 years. But I really do like Peggle. Right? I streamed Peggle back in the day. We beat the entire game in a single... I think we beat everything but the bonus levels in a single stream. This was back in, like, Season 3. At least I think it was in Season 3. But yeah, I do like Peggle. Peglin, I think is... When I played the demo, I was like, yeah, this is kind of fun. This was back in, like, 2019, 2020. It was a while ago. But I was like, yeah, this is a good idea. But it was more like I kind of wanted to see where it goes once it exited early access and whatnot. And yeah, finally on Tuesday, it exited early access. And now it's fully available, and it's on Switch. I don't remember if it's a timed console exclusive on Switch, but it's on Switch. It's out fully on Steam on PC. And yeah, I probably will pick this up. Because, you know, because again, I love me some Peggle. I want to give it another try. It's been a while. But no, I think it's really cool that it was a shadow drop. Right? That's a great thing to just be announced it, and hey, it's available now. Another game available today, or as of the Direct, Pico Park 2. I have played the original Pico Park. I played it with a group of, like, 4 other people. And, yeah, it was a nightmare. No, maybe it was 5. There might have been 6 of us. Now that for some reason, I was like, there's 5. There might have been 6. It was a nightmare. Admittedly, I'm one of those people who, like, I will do anything for the bit. So, you know, if chaos reigns... Let chaos reign, you know. If I want to go fully in on the bit, either my own or somebody else's, I will go fully in on the bit, because, you know, it's funny. So yeah, I fully went in on the bit. I admittedly was not helping. Right, I was the guy on the rope who was throwing himself off the edge, just because it was funny. So yeah, a second Pico Park, I think, is a great idea. Also, again, I think I got the original Pico Park for like $2, and that was on, I think it's normally $5. I got it for $2. The sequel is, I think, $8, which is a little more, but there seems to be more right, there's 60 new levels, probably some new modes, and then there's a dark mode, which is like even harder challenges that require like bigger risks and bigger rewards. I think that's really interesting, this new dark mode. I don't know, I have not picked this one up. I haven't picked up any of these games in this indie world yet, but I think they're all very interesting. And yeah, Pico Park is definitely one of those things where I'll, you know, if I ever get that group that I played the original Pico Park with together, I'll definitely check it out. Because I'll be honest, Pico Park is one of those games that I and a bunch of other people have started, but like never finished. Because, yeah, I never finished Pico Park. It's kind of like Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. I feel like at some point every YouTuber starts Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, does like a video or 2 on it, and then never touches it again. Myself included, obviously. Yeah, next up, they briefly mentioned Shovel Knight. We did not get a release date. We just know it's next year, Shovel Knight DX. I am excited for this, because I have an idea for a Shovel Knight video that I kind of want to... Right, it'd be a stream, but I kind of want to do it. But there's a part of me that's like, maybe I should... Because I don't think it's... What I want to do, I don't think is possible in the current version of Shovel Knight, but it might be possible in the DX version. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's going to take a lot of trial and error to get done. But I'm very curious. It's one of those things I want to try one of these days. I just got to, you know, find time to do it. Which, I'll tell you, isn't anytime soon. So yeah, that's a whole thing. But, you know, it's cool to see it again. It's coming out eventually. I'm still kind of disappointed we haven't gotten anything from Mina the Hollower. That's supposed to come out this year. And yeah, there are still 4 more months for that to happen. But it's just kind of weird that it hasn't happened yet. Right? Like, we don't even have, we just know 2024. I can almost guarantee you it's getting pushed till next year. I'm like 90% sure, right? Because yes, admittedly, we know more about Mina the Hollower than we do about Silksong. But I still think there's a very high likelihood that that gets pushed. Just kind of feeling it like it is. I think that's very likely. Yeah, because I'm big on Link's Awakening right now. We'll talk about it more at the end of the stream. But I want Mina the Hollower now, because now that I'm big on Link's Awakening again, I'm like, God, I want to play this. I do. I really do. But who knows? Who knows when it's going to be? We'll just kind of have to wait and see. And then finally, they ended off with Pizza Tower. You know, people really wanted Pizza Tower on Switch. It's a Wario-inspired game. It makes perfect sense for it to come to Switch. And, you know, the developer said, hey, we're, like, either the last Nintendo Indie World or the one before that, they were like, hey, it's not here, but trust me, we're still working on it. And yeah, sure enough, it was here. They shadow dropped it, and I think that's a great shadow drop. I think it's the perfect one more thing, right? Because Nintendo's learned you always got to end these shows with one more thing. And Pizza Tower is that perfect one more thing. So yeah, no, I'm really happy with that. I think that's a good one more thing. I'm curious to see where it goes, right? How it actually plays out. Will I be picking it up? Hopefully, maybe? I don't know, we'll see. I'm either going to pick up it or Peglin. I admittedly don't know which one I'm going to pick up first. But I'm definitely going to pick up one or the other. Because, yeah, it looks interesting. So, yeah, that was the Indie World. I think that was a great Indie World. Admittedly, right, it was more to my taste, you know, Balatro, Neva, Date Everything, Peglin, Pico Park, Shovel Knight, Pizza Tower. All games I'm tangentially interested in. Either / you know, have in some way checked out or said I will check out. So, yeah, I think that was I would honestly give that like an A- as an Indie Worlds go. I think it had everything an Indie World needed, plus it had a good one last reveal. Which one last reveals really do matter. I know my normal standard for, like, the standard to get, like, a solid B on an Indie World is just to have one game I'm interested in. And the fact that this had, like, 4 games I am tentatively interested in, and another, like, half dozen that I'm like, yeah, you know, I might check that out, hypothetically. Okay, tentatively might not have been the right word, but you get my point. Right, like, I'm interested in some of these games. So yeah, I think that was a pretty solid Indie World. I would give it, yeah, like a solid A. Or an A-. Probably, I don't know what it would have, maybe if it had had like a Silksong or a Deltarune, it might have been an A+. But, or maybe even just like some big surprise. Because, like, yeah, Pizza Tower is a good place to end. But we knew Pizza Tower was coming to Switch eventually. Admittedly, I had no idea Peglin was coming to Switch. Right. I don't know, you just need something big. But I think for everything they did, it was a very good Indie World. I think they put together a fantastic show. So yeah, I'd give it a solid A-. A-, somewhere's in there. Let's go solid. Let's go A. So the Partner Presents, on the other hand, I'm a lot lower on. There's a lot less stuff I was interested in. It was a very RPG and remake-focused Partner Presents. And, right, I don't play RPGs. There's a lot of Japanese games that I know nothing about, that I know for some people it's very exciting, right? Like all the Capcom stuff, very exciting for people who like Capcom games. But for me, someone who don't play Capcom games, well, that much anymore. Yeah, this really did nothing for me. Some stuff that I was interested in. The Tetris collection, I think, is a fantastic idea. I mean, right, Sonic got a collection. Mega Man's had multiple collections. Crash, Spyro, right? All these series are getting their collections, right? And so giving Tetris a collection actually makes perfect sense. There's a lot of good games in this Tetris collection. Also getting the NES version of Tetris. Like, I've seen, right, even to this day, I know people who will say the NES version of Tetris is the best version of Tetris. Like, it is, like, when that guy got the highest possible score on Tetris, that was on the NES version, when that kid broke the record earlier this year. Yeah, I think that was earlier this year. Right, that's the NES version. So that's important, right? The NES version is still played to this day because of how good it is. So yeah, I get that. I get the appeal there. We got Goat Simulator 3. I'm surprised this wasn't already announced for Switch. Goat Simulator 3 feels very much like because we just got Goat Simulator remastered at Summer Games Fest. So us not knowing Goat Simulator 3 is kind of a surprise. We got a Patrick Star game. Honestly, the Patrick Star game, it feels like one of those like sandbox games where you just kind of fuck around in. Kind of like Goat Simulator. I don't know, it's a very weird game. Am I going to play it? Not at all. But I feel like if I was a kid, it would have been amazing. I would have been so happy with this Patrick Star announcement. All these SpongeBob games that the Cosmic Shake, the remake of Battle for Bikini Bottom. I would have been so happy with all these games because I loved SpongeBob as a kid. I loved Nickelodeon as a kid, man. Right, like I had the Danny Phantom, not Ultimate Enemy. Maybe it was Ultimate Enemy. Whatever the Danny Phantom Game Boy game was, I had a Fairly Odd Parents Game Boy game. I had a Penguins of Madagascar Game Boy game. Right, I have a bunch of nostalgia for like old Nickelodeon games. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good. These SpongeBob games would have totally filled that itch. I'm pretty sure I had Battle for Bikini Bottom, or one of the Nickelodeon SpongeBob games. The Game Boy version, obviously, because I mostly played Game Boy, but still. Yeah, let's see. Next up, I saw everyone talking about Suikoden. Right, basically, from what I understand, Suikoden's like one of the best games of all time. So the fact that Suikoden 1 and 2 are getting a remake actually seems to be a pretty big deal. I don't know. I know nothing about these games, if I'm being completely honest. Right, I know nothing about them. But everyone seems to be very hyped for them. So I'm just going to assume that's a good thing. Because, yeah. Right, I don't know, it's been a lot, I know nothing about them, but hey, if everyone says they're good, maybe they're actually really good, right? Like, I have no reason to doubt the internet. Especially when it comes to RPGs, games I know nothing about. We got Civilization 7. Yes, it's Civilization 7. I don't know, there's a chance that it might run better on Switch, if only or it might run decent on Switch, because unlike Civ 6 that came out before the Switch had come out, Civ 7, right, is being designed potentially with the Switch in mind. At least the Switch version is being designed with the Switch in mind. I don't know, it's one of those games that I would probably rather wait for Switch 2, because it'll probably do better on that. But no, I get it. I do. Like, honestly, you know how, like, on the Switch launch day, there were, like, 30 different Switch games, right? Like, you had Breath of the Wild, obviously, but then you had, like, 1-2 Switch, you had, Spectre of Torment. You had Snipper Clips. Having Civ 7 as a launch day game on Switch 2, I think would actually be really neat. Because, you know, Civilization on the go is, in theory, a very appealing idea. I mentioned last week how I constantly see Civ 6 on sale on Switch. Civ 6, if you've never played it, it is currently $3 on the eShop. If you have ever been interested in playing a Civilization game, I hear the Civ 6 port on Switch is pretty decent, and for $3, that is an easy recommendation. Super easy recommendation. So yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know. New Civilization games are controversial at launch. I don't know if they always have been, but as long as I've been into the franchise, they have been controversial. And so I expect Civ 7 to be no different. But Civ 6 is supposedly good now. Because, right, I remember when Civ 5 came out, people didn't like it, and then they fixed it. Civ 6 came out, people didn't like it, and then they fixed it. I expect Civ 7 to be no different. We got My Sims, we got the Cozy Bundle. If you watched my reaction, I mentioned in my reaction that I was like, you know where I know about these games from? Peanut Butter Gamer. Peanut Butter Gamer did some videos absolutely shitting on these games. Because they're just poor man's Animal Crossing. I rewatched, at least the original, the My Sims video. Yeah, those videos, you can tell those videos are like 12 years old. They have not exactly aged perfectly. It was 12 years ago. And is he being a little too harsh on these games for not being Animal Crossing? Probably. Yeah, probably. So, I don't know. I know some people have a lot of nostalgia for these Wii games. If it's good, good for the people who like it. I don't really have an interest in it. Right, when it comes to Animal Crossing likes, I'm much more interested in that Float Island game that was announced at Summer Games Fest. But, yeah, you know, if people are excited for it, good for them. Right? It's no sweat off my back if other people are interested in it. And then we got some Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. We're getting the Ruin DLC for Security Breach. And we're getting the non-VR version of Help Wanted. Can I be honest? I don't think Help Wanted works as a non-VR game. And admittedly, I haven't played it. But I really liked Five Nights at Freddy's VR. I thought that was a very... For a Five Nights at Freddy's game, I think it did a pretty good job at being what it's being. Admittedly, I've heard Help Wanted 2 isn't as good. Oh shit, I thought they were back there. But, you know, I still think it's interesting. But it's weird that they make non-VR versions. Like, I get it. Not everyone can afford a VR. You know, you want to alienate as little as your player base as possible. But it just doesn't hit the same, you know. Like, I get how Five Nights at Freddy's can be transported to mobile and console and everything. That makes sense. But the VR versions, I don't know. You lose some of the magic when it's not VR. Because, yeah, man, the original Help Wanted's, when I played it, 2 years ago now, scared the ever-loving shit out of me. God, it was such a good time. And then finally, they ended off with Yakuza Kiwami. I'm assuming this is one of the earlier Yakuza games. Right, like, if you had told me they're bringing a Yakuza game to Switch, I would have guessed it would have been Yakuza 0, not Kiwami. Admittedly, I know very little about Kiwami. I know a lot more about 0. But I don't think it's, you know, I've heard some people say that, no, this game is going to run terribly on Switch. It's blah, blah, blah. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think some people are kind of blowing it out of proportion. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But yeah, no, it's, you know, it makes sense to get some... I don't know if any of the Yakuza games are already on Switch. I want to say they aren't, but it makes sense to bring them to Switch, especially because I've heard they're good games, right? The only one I actually own is Yakuza Like a Dragon, the RPG. But I've heard that's an amazing game. It's on my RPG list, especially now that the sequel's out. But I still have never played it. Oh, they lost a guy. I didn't even notice that. But yeah, no, I've heard great things about the Yakuza RPGs and just the games in general. They're Shenmue, but good. So yeah, on the Nintendo Direct Partner Presents, I mean, it's not like an F. I would, for a Partner Presents, because, again, Nintendo Direct Partner Presents are two different things. As a Partner Presents goes, I'd give it like a C. I don't know, there just wasn't, for me personally, there wasn't as much here as I wanted. I want more from a Partner Present. I would have loved, what would I have liked? I don't know. Admittedly, I feel like a lot of games they talked about in this Partner Presents didn't have release dates, or if they did, it's like next year. Like, they're way, like Civilization was February, Suikoden I think was next year. I think My Sims might have been this year. I don't know if Yakuza got a release date. I want to say the Tetris collection's still a ways away. It just feels like we didn't get that much. Like, yeah, it's a lot of stuff later on for the future. I mean, nothing past March, but that's still a while away, if we're being honest. So yeah, I'm a little, like, I'm not, like, brokenhearted or anything. It's just, I don't know, I feel like we could have gotten more. Which pants did I used to wear? Was I in these? No, I think I was. Yeah, that seems right. And then don't I usually... Yeah, like that. That seems right. Can't believe I fucked up that shirt. Alright, so, yeah, I guess I'd give it like a C. Maybe C+. Let's give it a C. Let's stick with an A and a C. Yeah, those are solid rankings. Again, that's just me personally. To each their own. Alright, so we're going to continue on. I want to do the Echoes of Wisdom trailer. But I want to actually watch it. So we're going to come over here. We're going to check it out. And yeah, let's just watch it. This game is less than a month away. I think it's like 27 days. No, Zelda. Is this why she... Because we've seen in other trailers she starts off in jail. Is this why? Does she get blamed for murdering the king?
In search of Link and the King of Hyrule, both of whom were stolen away. Princess Zelda must borrow the power of an ethereal creature called Tri. Together, they enter the tears that scar the land in order to save her kingdom. On her journey, Zelda will explore what lies within the rifts.
The still world.
This is the still world.
I want to say I called it. I said when the last trailer released that the alternate world was going to be like the distortion world from Pokemon Platinum. What is this? The distortion world from Pokemon Platinum. I called it. Oh my gosh, this looks amazing. This is everything I wanted it to be. I'm so happy with this. This looks great. It looks fun. I like exploring it. The distortion world wasn't used as much as I'd love to it have been in Pokemon Platinum. The fact that this is like the dark world, or the mirror world, or the reverse world, or whatever. This is great. We find out the dungeons are here. I am so excited for all of this. This is so good. Everything about this is fantastic.
What to do, though? Overwhelm the boss with echoes? Or combine them to find unique ways around the situation? The strategy is yours to devise.
Napping on the boss to assert your dominance.
The still world can be accessed through rifts.
Yeah, look at how
scattered
cool
across
this all
Hyrule.
looks.
And each entry point leads to a location with its own defining features. On her adventure, Zelda must overcome dungeons.
That's a boss
within
key
the
chest,
rifts
or a key
and
item
the
chest.
mysteries they hold. Without Link or the King, Hyrule's fate rests squarely in Zelda's hands.
Man, I'm so excited. It's gonna be good to get some traditional dungeons. This is fantastic. You find
When
Link's
Zelda
sword.
finds and picks up a mysterious sword, she takes on
Not the Master Sword.
form, allowing her to attack directly.
I love Zelda in Link's outfit. That is so cute. I kind of wish she wasn't blue. Like, I would love to see her in, like, the traditional green. Maybe that'll be one of the unlockable costumes, just the normal thing. But I think that looks great. I think it being a timed mechanic is a great idea.
When
Right.
or where you choose to wield this power is up to you.
The fact that we can actually still fight enemies, that's so nice. And I feel like putting it on a time limit isn't right. That makes gameplay more interesting.
So be sure to grab any you find.
I wonder if there's going to be other ways to recharge it. Because I feel like there should be. And there's clearly levels as well, which, you know,
This is
probably
Dampe,
indicate
an
damage, but something
engineer who
else.
crafts clockwork
Hey,
gizmos
Dampe got a
for Hyrule.
promotion.
His extravagant
He now
creations are
builds
called
robots.
automatons, and they can be
Or
activated by
automatons.
winding them up.
Well, excuse
They
me,
unleash powerful
princess.
effects that differentiate them from echoes.
That's cute.
But be careful, they'll break apart if they take too much damage.
They say if they take too much damage, I bet they can only run for a certain
You'll
amount of
meet
time
many
as
other
well.
Quirky characters during your travels, and there's no doubt they'll be of great help to the princess.
Oh, it's a cat. I like the Great Fairy design. That's good. Yeah, all that looks fantastic. Sword fights, dungeons, distortion world. I like the name The Still World is also a great name. Right? Like, we've had the Dark World, we've had the Reverse World. I think
On a
the
journey
Still
to
World is
traverse
great.
And save Hyrule, Princess Zelda's wisdom is key to undertaking
Volvagia?
this adventure.
This... Okay,
The Legend
let me-
of Zelda.
let me rewind a
Echoes
second.
of Adventure.
So my theory right now is that, you know, in the Zelda timeline, there's a split. There's 3 splits, actually. There's Ocarina of Time, Child Timeline, Ocarina of Time, Adult Timeline, and then the Hero Dies Timeline, also called Basketball Timeline. My theory has been that this game takes place in Basketball Timeline. Because this game has a lot of references to Links to the Past. Because it's using, you know, the Link's Awakening engine, so it's got references to that game. But it's weirdly enough got a lot of references to Ocarina of Time. And Volvagia here is just another one of those references. Where it's like, okay, this is an Ocarina of Time boss that we haven't seen since Ocarina of Time. But again, the game also has, you know, the River Zora, as well as the Lake Zora. It's weird, right? There's this weird mix of Ocarina of Time and Link to the Past. So my theory had been that this is the game that separates Basketball Timeline. That's, even though this game has made no mention of time travel so far, and I don't think it will, somehow this is Basketball Timeline. This is what leads, right, instead of the hero dying or whatever, somehow this leads us into the Age of Decline that we see in Basketball Timeline. I know everything is now more complicated than ever, because we literally just got a new Zelda timeline. Let me pull this up real quick. Give me a second. Oops. Let me see. Can I find it on Twitter real quick? Oops. Literally, this just got... So, the Legend of Zelda Historia book just came out yesterday. But it's still in Japanese. We still need to translate a bunch of stuff. So, you know, we're kind of trying to figure that out right now. But, right, the Zelda timeline at Nintendo Live Sydney shows Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild are placed separately from past Zelda titles. So, right, we have the Hyrule Historia. Can I open this image in a new tab, please? Yes, thank you. So, right, of course, I hate this Zelda timeline. I know I've talked about this before. I fucking hate this Zelda timeline. Specifically these two games right here. I actually watched, someone made a video a few months ago now, but I watched it recently about the Zelda timeline. Who was that? Give me a second. Zelda. A guy named Broseph Lequask? He made a video called I Solved the Map of Every Zelda Game. Followed up by, that video was months old, but recently he put out a video analyzing all the time travel in the Legend of Zelda games. They're both decent videos that I actually watched recently. But in them, he kind of talks about, right, he talks about how all the maps are the same, how they overlap in certain places. It's really interesting, honestly. But one of the things that complicates everything is the Minish Cap and the Four Swords games. They really don't make sense, and to be honest, they have never made sense. I actually really hate the fact that Minish Cap and Four Swords are up here on the timeline, and then Four Swords Adventure is way down here. It makes no fucking sense. Because why the hell is this set up right here before Ocarina of Time after Skyward Sword, and yet it's only brought up in one of the three timelines? It's almost like these were a bunch of separate games that Nintendo then haphazardly strung together, because they never intended on a timeline in the first place, outside of, Ocarina of Time leading to Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. Like, honestly, they're all kind of haphazardly put together because this timeline's a fucking mess. So yeah, I hate and the only reason Minish Cap is second in the timeline is because it's the game that tells you the origin of Link's hat, except for the fact that he has the fucking hat in Skyward Sword. God, it pisses me off so much that they're like, oh, well, this game has to be second in the timeline because it's the origin of Link's hat. Link had a hat in this game. What the fuck are you talking about? God, I hate these fucking games. I hate this timeline. I hate this timeline so much. It irks me to no end. I stand by this timeline is just inherently wrong. These should not be here. These should come after Twilight Princess. This timeline is just inherently wrong. And it's just one of those things that Nintendo put these games up here because of the hat thing, not thinking about anything else. And even though they've had multiple opportunities to change it, including this week, clearly, with the new Masterworks book, and now this, they haven't done shit about it. But guess what? The timeline doesn't fucking matter anymore because they've rebooted the whole thing. Right? As far as I am concerned, I know they kind of put this split here. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are just a reboot. The fact that Tears of the Kingdom is a retelling of Ocarina of Time, I think it is a very safe argument that you could say Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and maybe Skyward Sword are the only three games on this timeline. Other than that, nothing else here matters anymore. Of course, they can always go back to this timeline. Again, my prediction is that Echoes of Wisdom is somewhere around here, right? Separating Ocarina of Time and then leading into Link to the Past. We'll see about that, obviously. But, yeah, no. And the only reason I think Nintendo hasn't just canonically come out and said, hey, this is a new timeline, is because they know that would piss people off. That people very much care about this timeline. People give way too many shits about it, myself included. Don't get me wrong. I'm a pot calling the kettle black here. But yeah, they should just fucking call it and say that, hey, these two games, we're starting a brand new timeline, right? Again, to reference that time travel video about how it makes no sense, just say that Skyward Sword has a split in time, and one timeline continues off this way into all of these games, and then the other timeline just goes Skyward Sword, a billion years later, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. And then, Tears of the Kingdom in the past is your retelling of Ocarina of Time, but in this new Skyward Sword timeline. Just call it there, simple, easy, and potentially that's what they did in the new Masterworks book, right? It's still in Japanese. People are still translating it. But I guess the new Masterworks book has a timeline, and it's literally just got these 2 games on it, and maybe some brief mentions to, like, Skyward Sword and whatnot. I don't know. It's a little sloppy. We'll kind of see what happens. I don't know. There's this weird, like, broken squiggle in the timeline that's doing all the heavy lifting. But it's a fucking mess. The Zelda timeline has always been a mess. And yeah, there's no winning. But God, you could just fix this. This is such an I know people will be mad. I don't give a shit. It makes no sense as it is. Just fix it, Nintendo. Fix your goddamn games. Again, they were never supposed to be connected in the first place. Outside of direct sequels and references, none of this matters. Like, the fact that the first 2 games are at the very end. Like, that's just because, you know, you had to get all these pieces to connect one way or another. I mean, honestly, if you want, just branch the timeline off into 3. In the video I'm referencing, he mentions how if Skyward Sword really does break the timeline, it wouldn't break the timeline into 2, it'd break the timeline into 3. And honestly, I actually think that's a decent... Again, go watch the video. He says the timeline Skyward Sword break makes no sense, and he's completely right. But I think Skyward Sword breaks the timeline into 3. One timeline leads to Ocarina, one timeline leads to Link to the Past, and one timeline leads to Breath of the Wild. Boom, call your work, boom, work's done, everything's taken care of, boom, it all makes sense. I think that's the easiest way to do it. But no, it's Nintendo. They're going to stick with this until the day they die. Sure, does it matter that they've changed the order of Oracle of Ages and Seasons? They flip-flopped it? Nah, who cares? Right? The fact that they're totally willing to admit there are changes to the timeline? Who cares? The fact that they say in Link to the Past that the Master Sword goes to sleep forever and is never awoken again, only for it to be rewoken in Link Between Worlds, does that make any sense? No, of course not. But who cares? The fact that there are moblins in Minish Cap, even though moblins are described in Ocarina of Time to be based off of the image of Ganon/Ganondorf in some of these later games, does that make any sense because Ganondorf doesn't exist in these games? No, not at all. Is the only reason Four Swords Adventure placed right here in the timeline and not right here because there's a secret final boss that is Ganondorf, and it would make no sense for Ganondorf to be here and not over here? Right? Would that make no sense? Is that the only reason they did that? Of course. God, these fucking stupid-ass motherfucking timelines. Motherfucking bitch-ass son of a bitch. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about something that is so fucking stupid and doesn't matter. We had a Pauline trailer next. I'm very excited for that Zelda game. It's a month away. It'll be really cool when it comes. So Pauline's made it into Mario Party. People were kind of predicting this because, you know, we got Ninji, who you can see there at the end. I think it makes sense. Pauline is, you know, taking the slot of our 4th female character. So yeah, I think it makes perfect sense to have her here. I think she's a good asset to the team, because that now means we have 4 male and 4 female main characters, right? We've got Mario, Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi, and so now we've got Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, and Pauline. 4 and 4. I think that makes perfect sense. The fact that Pauline is becoming more and more popular, because it's crazy that this design is like 20 years old at this point, and yet this actual design is only, right, this character has only been popular for like 7 years. Because, right, even though this, actually it's probably been like 24 years. I don't know, whenever the GBA Mario and Donkey Kong game premiered, or one of the minis, or whatever, right, that's when this design premiered, and it wasn't until Mario Odyssey and they gave her a pantsuit that people were like, oh, now I care about Pauline. And yeah, rightfully so. I'm glad she's in Mario Kart. She was cool in tennis. She was cool in golf. Was she in Strikers? I think she was in Strikers. That makes sense. Yeah, no, Pauline's a great pick. We all kind of figured she was going to be coming, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be 2 more characters. But yeah, no, that's a cool get. That does lead me to think, though, that, the fact that we got Pauline here... So, between us getting a new Zelda trailer and us getting, Pauline and Mario Party, if Nintendo was going to do a Direct, right, like something other for the Switch, that's not happening anymore. Because Nintendo kind of has a pattern of, like, hey, if we're not doing a Nintendo Direct, we'll just put all of our announcements out as tweets and, you know, YouTube videos. They're right, like, the first time I remember this really happening was Pikmin 3, right? Instead of releasing Pikmin 3 as, like, a part of a Nintendo Direct or whatever, because we were in the middle of COVID, they instead just put the trailer up on YouTube and called it a day. Or on Twitter, right? Like, I remember being awake that morning and just seeing, hey, Pikmin 3 coming to the Switch on Twitter, right? I was watching the sunrise. So yeah, we now know that, right, there is not going to be a mainline Nintendo Direct. Not anytime soon, anyways. Because yeah, by the time we get another Nintendo Direct, hopefully the Switch 2 will have been announced. Right? Because the next earliest Nintendo Direct is... Well, there'll probably be there's usually an Indie World in, like, December. So there'll probably be an Indie World, but by that point, hopefully the Switch 2 will have been revealed. And then the normal Nintendo Direct is in February. So, yeah, I could see the big Switch reveal Direct being in February or March. And then just calling it a day. But yeah, those are 2 announcements that you would think would be in a Direct. So the fact that they aren't means that, yeah, that partner presents is the last thing we're getting. I'll be honest, I hope at least for Zelda, I hope we don't get anything else. Like, I've kind of seen everything I want to see from Zelda. I honestly considered not even watching this trailer, but I knew it was going to be spoiled for me. Like, that's the thing. Like, I know these things get spoiled all the time, so I was like, you know what, I might as well just watch it. Whereas the Mario Party thing, I actually think that'd be is like every other week they reveal a new character. Because again, we're pretty sure there's like 4 more characters to be revealed. Because there's still a lot more they can do, obviously. And yeah, if they spend the next 4 weeks revealing new characters, you know... Do we know if Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong are in this new game? I'm pretty sure we know Donkey Kong, I don't know if we know Diddy Kong. You know, revealing Diddy Kong would be pretty cool. Maybe King K. Rool. Maybe Funky Kong. Bring Funky Kong over from the Mario Kart games. You know people would love that. Do we know if this game has character dice blocks? I feel like we don't actually have the answer to that question. And I would actually kind of be interested to know. Like, we're definitely going to get some big sort of Mario Party breakdown. Probably late September, early October, where they're going to just go over the different things in the game. But yeah, if Nintendo did like a thing where it's like, hey, every once in a while, here's a new Mario Party character from the new Mario Party game. That'd be cool. I like little reveals like that. That'd be fun. So yeah, anything else there? Nah. I guess let's move on to the non-Nintendo stuff. So, we got a Sonic 3 trailer. I did do a reaction to this, watching it for the first time over on YouTube, right? You can find that as part of the Nintendo Direct video. I put that in there, because I watched it right after it. And yeah, no, the Nintendo Direct, or the Sonic 3 trailer looks fantastic. I've seen a lot of discussion on whether or not they're going to kill the girl. They're going to kill the girl. I know some people say, well, oh no, they're not going to kill... It's a kid's movie. They're not going to kill the girl. They're going to kill the girl. If you don't... Listen, they can either kill the girl, or they can freeze her a la Mr. Freeze. You know, the Batman villain, Mr. Freeze. I don't think they're going to freeze her. I think they're going to kill her. But I think the trailer looks great, right? See, the fact that Gerald Robotnik's alive... I kind of forgot that Gerald Robotnik dies by firing squad in Sonic Adventure 2. I'll be honest, I've been thinking about it this week. I don't really remember Sonic Adventure 2 that much. Like, I remember, you know, the beginning, I remember City Escape and all that, and God, I hope this movie opens with City Escape. Right? I really do hope that that's how the movie opens, because that'd be awesome. Right, that Sonic, right, the government the movie starts with the government having captured Sonic. As he escapes, we get City Escape, we get the song, the whole shebang. And then the government is like, okay, we failed to get him, let's open Project Shadow. Like, that's the inciting incident that causes them to be like, yep, we failed one too many times, let's go open Project Shadow. It completely backfires. He murders them all Mewtwo style. And yeah, I think that's a great opening for the movie. Well, okay, obviously the movie is gonna open with a flashback. Like, I'm gonna call it right now that it's gonna open up with a Shadow and, Maria flash. Like, that's how the movie starts. Before then, you know, cutting. And, because, you know, I feel like people on the internet are just kind of laissez-faire talking about the fact that Maria's going to die, when I guarantee you the movie is going to build that up. Right? The movie's not gonna start with Maria dying. No, that's going to be like a slow reveal that's really supposed to like shock the audience. But right, it's kind of like Aerith in Final Fantasy VII, where it's like, you know, people who played that game or knew about that game when they were younger, right, they know what happens to Aerith. But people who are playing Final Fantasy VII remakes, who have never played the original, they don't know that's coming. Right? It's the same situation when you really think about it. Gosh dang it. But no, I'm interested to see, you know, what happens there. I've seen a lot of speculation that, hey, you know, Robotnik makes a deal with Sonic for one of his quills. What if he's going to use that quill to make Metal Sonic? Please, please make Metal Sonic. I am a huge Metal Sonic fan. He might be my favorite Sonic character. Kind of like in the same way my favorite Godzilla character is Mechagodzilla. Because I just love the trope of characters that represent the environment or nature being turned into robots. I just think that's a really cool trope. Right, my favorite is Mechagodzilla, obviously. But I feel like Sonic also does a pretty good job at it. And while I know Metal Sonic is not part of Sonic Adventure 2, I still feel like now would be a good time to, you know, just do it. Because I want to see it I want to see Metal Sonic in one of these movies. Right? I feel like Jim Carrey, you know, it's funny, because, right, Jim Carrey retired, but the one movie he's coming back for is Sonic. And of course, I'd love if he makes 100 more of these, but I would kind of be curious to see them tackle another Sonic villain. Specifically Chaos, like the entity. I know Chaos is Chaos Control and all that. And Chaos... I do not remember the Sonic Adventure games. But I know Chaos isn't... Like, I know Eggman is the primary Sonic antagonist. But I know there are other Sonic antagonists. Chaos being one of them. I guess you could also do the villains from Sonic Lost World. But, like, fuck those guys. And again, Eggman is also part of that plot. So, like... I don't know. But so far, the Sonic movies have been right, the first one was a fine movie, not anything outstanding. It was a perfectly serviceable movie. And then the second one fixed a lot of the problems in the first one. It's not like a 10 out of 10 or anything, but it's a lot better. I really do stand by the second Sonic movie is great. I have a great time with it every time I watch it. And then, yeah, the third one, just, like, they're looking better and better. Man, Shadow on the motorcycle is cool. Him using Chaos Control. Keanu Reeves does a fine voice, right? You know what else I want to see from future Sonic? At some point, we got to see the Chaotix. I don't think I want a second season of the Knuckles show. But if a second season of the Knuckles show gets us the Chaotix, I would like that. I'd love to see Rouge, of course. Rouge and Amy. Because I'm kind of surprised Amy isn't in this. I mean, they might be saving it for the actual movie. I kind of hope they are, if both or either of them are here. And then, if I feel like if they do another one, Silver. Have Silver and Blaze come in. They come from the future, and, you know, maybe they're trying to prevent Chaos from taking over the world. Do the Werehog. I don't know. You just kind of got to mix and match these things. Because that's the one thing. The one thing I kind of remember about Sonic Adventure 2 is I want to say that movie's plot is Eggman teams up with Shadow to defeat Sonic. Like, that's a big component of the movie, or of the game. But they kind of can't do that for the movie, because that was the plot of the second one. The second one was about Knuckles and Eggman teaming up to get the Master Emerald. So you kind of can't do that again. You got to do something different. So, you know, Shadow being the villain who wants to destroy the world completely on his own, forcing Sonic to team... He's probably not even destroying the world. I can almost guarantee Shadow is going back in time. Because I want to say that might be what happens in the game, if I remember correctly. Is right, Shadow tries to go back in time to save Maria. I can almost guarantee you that's what's happening here. So yeah, right now that Deadpool and Wolverine is out, Sonic is probably my most anticipated movie of the year, like bar none. Because I do like Sonic. Sonic may be dumb, but man, do I love Sonic. It's just one of those things, right? I got Stockholm syndromed into liking Sonic, but now that it's held me hostage for so long, you know, you might as well just embrace it. I mean, what the fuck else do I have to look forward to when it comes to AAA movies? I mean, fucking Joker 2? Ya kidding me? Actually, I'm more interested in Joker 2 than I was the first one. Because the first one was just kind of dumb, whereas the second one, it being a musical and whatnot... I know the director said something stupid about Harley Quinn. You know what? Who cares? People are allowed their different interpretations of the character. Todd Phillips already made his different interpretation of the Joker. He can make his own interpretation of Harley Quinn. Who cares? I'm not too beat up over that as some other people are. So yeah, no, Joker, Beetlejuice next week? It might be good, but it might be garbage. I don't know. Any other AAA bullshit? No, not that I can really think of. I mean, is there even... Oh, Moana. Yeah, who gives a shit about Moana 2? But yeah, I mean, indie movies and, you know, Oscar baits, that's a whole other story. But, you know, when it comes to AAA stuff, I really think it is just Sonic at this point. I mean, I'll go see other shit, because, you know, I watch movies. But, no, I'm kind of... Right, Inside Out and Wolverine already came out, so that's kind of all I have left. Nice. I guess that takes us to our next thing. So, we got some... So, I guess at Gamescom... over, right, the past week. It was kind of an open secret. People were kind of talking about the PS5 Pro. I guess some people have seen the PS5 Pro now. We don't actually have, like, an official image of what it looks like. I did have a sketch that I meant to pull up that I shouldn't have closed Twitter on because I was going to pull it up. But yeah, we supposedly have our first, like, sketch of the PS5 Pro. You know how, like, okay, so you know how on the normal PS5, on the PS4, right, you had the PS4 Slim, the new model for the PS4, that had, like, right, it was two, like, vertical bars. Well, the new PS5 is, right, they have the Slim, which is, you know, two vertical bars, or which has a vertical bar running down the middle. This new version has multiple vertical bars. Shocker, man. It has like 4 vertical bars. Oh my god, that's such a big deal. I can't believe they have 4 entire vertical bars. Holy shit. So this, let me pull up the image. So this is the image of what it looks like, supposedly. Okay, that's actually 3 vertical bars. But you get my point. So supposedly this is what it looks like. Right, it's got 2 USB 3. Right, USB 3.0, USB-C, whatever ports are. So no old school, right, USB port, right, USB, right, that's the one they use on phones and the Switch and everything. It's got the power button, it's got, right, the vertical bars, the plates that you can pull off. It's a little thicker than the Slim. I don't know if it's as thick as the PS5, the old one, but, you know, it's a little thicker. And it has no disk drive, right? I know Xbox recently went all in on their newest Xbox having no disk drive. It looks like PlayStation's doing the same thing. Now, will you be able to attach a disk drive to it? Will there be a version with a disk drive? So far, we don't know the answer to that first question. You might be able to attach a disk drive, you might not be able to. We don't know at the moment. But will there be a version that comes with it, right? Kind of like if the PS5 Slim has a version with a disk drive and a version without. We don't honestly know at the moment, right? It's kind of one of those things where it's like, we don't know, but if I was a betting man, I'm going to say there is no version that comes with a disk drive. If you want a disk drive on this thing, you got to spend the money to get it. Which, will I be spending the money? No. Am I actually interested in a PS5 Pro? No. I'll be honest, the PS5 on its own has not done enough to make me be like, yeah, you know, I need to get a Pro version. Like, there's nothing of high enough intensity to be like, yeah, I need a Pro version, or else there's no point in playing games on this thing. Like, no. What am I gonna play? Fucking Concord? You kidding me? Man, so in the past week, Concord has basically failed. And I feel like the narrative on Concord is a little... Okay, so it's funny, because I said when Concord was revealed, I was like, you know what? This game looks like something that doesn't matter. Right? This is just another multiplayer shooter that, you know, we'll just toss in the bin and forget about. But I was kind of hesitant to say that, because I said the same thing about Helldivers. And at least for a while, everyone was playing Helldivers, right? Helldivers was the big dog biscuit for a few months. Until, you know, shit hit the fan because of PlayStation. So I was kind of hesitant to say about Concord, but now Concord's come out, right, it's launch week, and it has less than 200 players on Steam. The game is failing, and people are, like, celebrating its failure, and, I get it, but at the same time, I feel kind of bad. Because this game has been into... Right, there are people who clearly care a lot about this game. They give a shit. They've put 8 years of work into this. And so, like, on one hand, I don't feel bad for Sony. Right? Fuck Sony. But for the people who have been working on this game for years, who had a vision, who wanted to make something great, I do kind of feel bad for the people. The corporations can go fuck themselves. Right, in a world of live service games, I don't know what made you think we needed another one. Because why would people pick up your live service game when they can go back to Overwatch? Or now I get Overwatch is currently shitting the bed, so like I understand that. But guess what? Overwatch is being replaced by Marvel Rivals. So why would they go to your game when they can just play Marvel Rivals here in a few months? Right? And especially, why would they pay money for your thing when someone else is giving out the first hit for free? So, like, I get it. I get why Concord is failing. But it's just kind of a shitty situation all around. But yeah, I don't need a PS5 Pro. I barely use my PS5 as is. I don't need a Pro. Even though at some point I gotta get back to another Crab's Treasure. Before the end of the year, that is something I will do. But for the moment, nah. So I guess that takes us to WIBE. So let's start off with I don't have much. Let's start off with the food stuff. So I might have talked about the pizza. I don't remember. So a few months, maybe even last year, I kind of don't remember. Right, hot honey has been this big new trend. Right, everyone's been talking about hot honey, specifically putting hot honey on pizza, and how good it's supposed to be. And I was like, okay, you know, I see the appeal of pizza with something sweet and spicy on it. I get that jump. But, right, I didn't know any place that served hot honey pizza, at least any place local, until Pizza Hut did it. Pizza Hut did a hot honey pizza, and I was like, oh, you know what, okay, I'll give that a try. Right, it's just a pepperoni pizza with hot honey on it. And, like, I'm not a big fan of Pizza Hut. I don't think they're as bad as, like, Papa John's, you know, Prappity Jams. But I don't love them either. Like, right, normally I'd rather go to, like, Domino's or something. But I gave it a try, and I was actually really impressed with it. it kind of made me I was like, I get the appeal of a hot honey pizza. And then, you know, that went away. Again, no local place serves a hot honey pizza. I could, of course, always make my own, you know, either buy a hot honey or whatever. But, you know, I haven't really gone out of my way for it. So I wanted pizza, and I saw Blaze Pizza. Right, they have a new hot honey menu, right? A new spicy menu that has hot honey on it. And I was like, oh, okay, you know what? I'll give that a try. So they've got a hot honey, they've got like a spicy sweet pizza that's got, you know, it's pepperoni, jalapenos, garlic, 2 different types of cheeses, and some chili sauce and some hot honey. And I was like, okay, you know, I'll give that a try. Sure, why not? I'm admittedly not a like, I don't really care for, I'm basically a white guy, right? Like, you know that Tim Walz bit about where he's like, oh yeah, the hottest flavors we get here in, are black pepper, right? And they're in the Midwest. And, right, I get that joke, because, yeah, I'm totally one of those people. Like, outside of a local Mexican place that makes the best salsa I've ever had, that is super spicy, but it's so good that I'll put up with the spice, I can't deal with spice. Not one bit. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, outside of that, I'm not a spice guy, but I was like, you know what, I'll get this hot honey, you know, chili sauce, whatever. I think it was called, like, the sweet and spicy pizza. I'll try it. My God, did that destroy me. I got a pizza, it took me, like, 3 days to eat it. And it was just suffering for those 3 days, man. It was one of those things where it's like, I spent money on this, I'm going to finish it. But I could not handle the spice. The hot honey was way too understated. The pizza was, you know, I like Blaze Pizza, but sometimes they burn it to shit, and I hate that. Like, I know their whole thing is that they use, like, super hot ovens to cook the pizza super quickly, and, you know, sometimes you'll get a great pizza from them, right? Sometimes it'll be cooked to perfection, or, you know, I'll take a little bit of burnt, but sometimes they just, like, forget about it, and it just gets burnt to shit, and that breaks my heart. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it sucks. And yeah, it was burnt to shit. So that sucked. But yeah, I could not deal with the spice. I did finish, right, I had all 8 slices. But it was a miserable 8 slices. Right, I'd probably, if I had taken off either the chili oil or the jalapenos, it's also got a special, like, spicy red sauce as well. If I had taken off, like, probably the jalapenos, I probably would have liked it a lot more. Right, the jalapenos were what probably pushed it over the edge. But goddamn, it just destroyed me. I was I think I got it, whenever I got it, I think I got it on, like, either last Saturday or the Saturday before. I was just miserable that night, going into the next day, and then the day after that, and I was like, I have to finish this. But goddamn, do I not want to finish this. Ugh. But I wasn't going to throw it away. I made the decision to order the spicy pizza. I was going to... Right, if this was a food challenge, I would have failed. But, you know, I had a personal victory. Because it doesn't matter if you get first. It doesn't matter if you get second or you get last. What matters is you gave it your all. And I gave it my all. I defeated the stupid spicy pizza. That, again, someone who actually can handle spice is going to think it's fucking baby food. But for me, oh my God. It was a nightmare and a half. But I did it. But I fucking did it. So yeah, that was my spicy pizza thing. The other thing I had a spicy... Oh, I went to Freddy's. So Freddy's, they launched their fall menu, plus they have a cheeseburger, or a grilled cheese steak burger. I liked the grilled cheese steak burger. Normally, when I think of, like, a grilled cheeseburger, I think of Sonic Burger, because they've done, like, a grilled cheeseburger in the past. Jack in the Box also used to have one that was the Jack in the Box wasn't great, but, you know, it was Jack in the Box. I didn't mind it. The Sonic one I do not like, but that's because it's Sonic Burger. And Sonic Burger just isn't that good. Their drinks are fantastic, man. I love drinks from Sonic, right? Getting a good cherry limeade or a slush of some sort. Man, those are so good. But an actual burger from Sonic Burger, fucking nightmare. They're just not good. They used to, and admittedly part of that's my bias, because I ate them basically every week for like a year. Because they used to have $5 Tuesdays. They might still, and there was on the way home from college, there was a Sonic Burger, so I could get a burger and a drink for like $5. Like, stupid. It was like a decent sized burger and a giant drink for like for probably less than $5. It might have even been $4. And that was so worth it for me. As a college student, that saved me so much money. But, right, I just got sick of them. Plus, you know, like every place, their quality has gone down and down. But so, when I heard Freddy's is doing a grilled cheeseburger, and they have a caramel apple, they have a pumpkin spice, ice cream, what the hell, custards? Do they call their things custards? Right, they have a caramel apple custard and a pumpkin spice custard. I don't care for pumpkin spice, but I love me some caramel apple. I am so glad that, you know, corporations have started to realize that not everyone likes pumpkin spice, so they're now trying to find the next flavor that can, like, go alongside pumpkin spice, and they've decided it's caramel apple, because, man, I love caramel apple. And so that's a great flavor. So I had both of those. The grilled cheeseburger, the grilled cheese steak burger, not bad. Not bad. It was cheesy, but it was good. It was a pretty solid, you know, it had a good amount of cheese, but it wasn't like overwhelming. There wasn't too much, because I've had when I talked about going to Vegas earlier in the year, I had, right, a mac and cheese grilled cheeseburger, or whatever the fuck it was called. I had a mac and cheeseburger where it was just like, there is too much going on in this sandwich. This does not have too much going on in it. It's very cheesy. It's pretty good. I liked it. I think it stands on par with their standard fare. Was it probably like $10 for like a combo? Yes. It was probably $10, which is, but that's for the same price, you could probably get like a Big Mac combo. Because every place is getting so fucking expensive nowadays. Because we are in, I would say a recession, but like it's literally just corporate greed and capitalism that's causing this. Like, it's literally, yeah, that's literally it. It's corporate greed and capitalism. And of course, Kamala Harris, she keeps saying stupid shit. Politic Minute. What the fuck? She's giving an interview, and some snippets of the interview have kind of been posted ahead of time. And one of her little snippets is about how she'd be open to hiring a Republican in her cabinet if she becomes president. Shut the fuck up, Kamala Harris. Listen, for the past 8 years, did the Democrats, or do the Republicans put any Democrats in their cabinet? No, because the Republicans take what they want, and they get exactly what they want, because they don't give a shit about us. Right? They are the people who are on the right, they believe they are right, and they tell us to go fuck ourselves. And yet, the Democrats are all about party unity. Oh, we have to work together. Oh, won't somebody think of the people who are trying to take away our fucking rights? Shut the fuck up, Kamala Harris. Don't fuck the Republicans. Tell them to go fuck themselves. Don't put one of them in your cabinet. And, just fucking... You know why the Republicans and Mitch McConnell got everything he wanted? Because you tried to play softball with them. You tried to work together. And where the fuck did that get us under the Obama administration? It got us a Republican-controlled House and Senate, and it got Donald Trump elected as president. Tell the Republicans to go fuck themselves. I don't want any of this softball bullshit. They fucking suck. They know it. We should be exterminating them. We should never work with them. God, it drives me fucking crazy. It's crazy because when Kamala announced, Biden announced he was dropped out. Kamala announced she was running for president. Tim Walz got picked as her VP. It was like that slot machine, like, I can't stop winning. I can't stop winning. I can't stop winning. But man, just these past 2 weeks, it's just dang it. Oh, she gives her speech at the DNC. Ah, dang it. She announces she's going to work with Republicans. Ah, dang it. She doesn't change her stance on Palestine. Ah, dang it. Like, if you just did some progressive policies, people would love you, right? You had the ball in your court. You had so much care and so much momentum. And now we're doing this 2008 Democrat bullshit. Like, come the fuck on. Oh my gosh. If you do things people like, people will like you. But no, party unity. We have to work with the Republicans and give away the keys to the fucking kingdom instead of just telling them to go fuck themselves. Oh my god, it drives me crazy. Things were going so good. But now in these past, like, 3 weeks, it's all just falling apart. Don't get me wrong, I'm still voting for her, right? I'm still more interested in Kamala Harris than I was on Joe Biden. His entire career, right? His entire 4 years of presidency, him running for president, I could not give a shit about Joe Biden, right? And I was way more excited for Joe Biden than I was Hillary Clinton, right? Hillary Clinton I actively despised, but like, fuck Donald Trump. But Kamala Harris, I was like, there's genuine interest here. If you just do some progressive shit that people like, you could have it all. And she keeps refusing to do it. Politics. Can we get away from politics? Please. I feel like that's the joke every time. What the fuck was I talking about? Did this come from a conversation about steak burgers? I like steak burger. I like the steak burger. I like the caramel apple pie shake. It had like bits of apple in it, and I was like, yeah, okay, that's a nice little bit, nice little bits of apple. This was pretty good. I liked it. I would definitely. Freddy's is. I know they do like the smash burgers. They do the steak burgers. I know that's not for everyone. I think they're decent, right? Like, out of all the places that have fallen downhill since the pandemic, they have not been as hit as hard as some of the others. Like, right, like places like McDonald's have just completely gone down the shitter. And even like Whataburger, I would have said Whataburger was the best burger in the world. And they've gone downhill. But Freddy's is still hanging on. They're okay. They're just, expensive. Even though, again, every place is kind of expensive nowadays, which sucks. So, I mean, what you gonna do? So yeah, that's it. I would recommend it, if you're going to Freddy's, steak burger, caramel apple pie shake, or whatever the hell it was called, concrete. Both pretty solid. I'd get it again. I can't stop winning. Ah, dang it. Ah, dang it. Ah, dang it. Perfect meme right there. Oh, did you hear Twitter got banned in Brazil? Yeah, the Brazilian government. I don't remember the exact details, but definitely something to do with misinformation on Twitter. Elon Musk refuses to do anything about it, so they're like, fuck it, no more Twitter in Brazil. I mean, it's technically not the first time something like this has happened. WhatsApp has been banned in Brazil multiple times. Because, man, Elon Musk just completely destroyed the platform. Like, we all know it, but man, I mean, I know Twitter has always sucked, but man, it used to be better than this. God, now it's a nightmare to use. And I just can't, there's not, like, in theory, if everyone were to just agree, like, hey, we're abandoning Twitter, we're all moving to Blue Sky, I'd be like, okay, let's make the change. But the fact that not everyone's doing it, like, yeah, I know some people who are on Blue Sky, right? I followed a few people today who, right, they can no longer use Twitter because they're from Brazil, right? Like, I followed an artist or two that, I followed for a while now. But, like, I just kind of wish, right, like, if we all just agree to make the jump, then, yeah, I have no problem moving over. But the fact is, we haven't, right? There's still plenty of people on Twitter. There are plenty of people who have left, to be fair. Like, there are some people who I know are only on Blue Sky, or I don't know anyone who uses Threads. So have I watched any movies? Nope. Not that I can think of. I don't know, I keep meaning to watch Kevin Can Fuck Himself. It's a Netflix show that I've heard is amazing. It's a dark comedy that I've heard is great. I don't know, so there's this woman on TikTok, Sid, who's been watching the entire MCU. Right? That's been, like, for a while now, she watches a movie a day, or, you know, she's been watching 2 episodes, because she's now in the Multiverse Saga, and she just finished WandaVision today. And yeah, it's a pretty, you know, it's making me relive a lot of my nostalgia for the MCU. So it's been a pretty decent series. I like some of her takes, you know. It's I guess nostalgic for lack of a better word, at least for some of the older movies. And just seeing her experience Endgame for the first time, it's Infinity War for the first time, was really good. You know, it puts right. It's from the perspective of someone who really has, like, they've seen some of these movies, like they've seen like Doctor Strange, but for the most part they knew very little about it. And yeah, I've been enjoying the series so far. It's a very solid series on TikTok. I should probably get their actual username. But they just finished It's honestly, it's the one thing I look forward to every morning at this point. For the past, like, 2 or 3 weeks, it's been every morning I wake up, and the first thing I do is check their videos to see if they posted a new one. Because usually they post their new one, like, right around the time I wake up. So yeah, right now they just finished WandaVision. They're starting Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But you know, WandaVision, I kind of want to rewatch WandaVision now. Because I know it was this take on, you know, classic sitcom television. But that, right, Kevin Can Wait is like this weird dark comedy about sitcom television that is really subversive and really good, supposedly. So I need to watch that, but I haven't. Plenty of other things I haven't watched. I haven't watched The Boys Season 4 still. I haven't watched other shit. There's other stuff I can't think of that I haven't watched either. But no, I just, same thing with the movies, I just haven't gone to the movies. I'm definitely going to go see Beetlejuice next week. You know, my parents are big fans of the original, right, I took my mother to see Beetlejuice the musical. So yeah, of course we're going to go see it next week. And, yeah. That should be fun. Hopefully. I'm hopeful it's good. It's basically the last summer blockbuster movie, so I'm hopeful that it's good, because after that we kind of hit a dry spell for a little bit. At least I think we do. So I haven't seen any of that. I haven't seen any TV. But I did. So last week, right, we talked about Superman. All-Star Superman, which I liked. Admittedly, I didn't like as much as other people do, because the book might have been built up a little too much to me, and, you know, once your expectations are so high, the only way to do it is to kind of disappoint you, and that's kind of what happened, sadly. But I picked up Superman Red and Blue, right, like 2 months ago. I picked up a bunch of Superman books, and I've slowly been working my way through them, and Red and Blue was the last one. And you know what? I liked it. Basically, Red and Blue is it's an anthology, a bunch of short stories that all revolve around Superman, and the gimmick is everything is in red and blue. Admittedly, some comics are more like, I feel like there's, like, yes, everything is in red and blue, but there are some that are more, like, strict with it, like, we're only going to use very specific shades of red and blue. Whereas some are a lot more, like, lenient, like, oh, we're going to use a very bright red to be, like, basically like a tan skin tone. And, like, I'm not saying that's cheating, because, no, it technically totally follows the rules. But I was kind of like, you know, I kind of wish you had just, right, I wish they had, I love the ones that play more selectively with color. Right, I think last week I talked about the one where it was, someone from Mixius Pitilix Dimension had taken away all the color, and they were like, oh, you know, let's just, and Lois tells Clark to, like, oh, just introduce a little bit at a time. So he, like, introduces red and blue back into the world. And it's actually, like, a really good, like, really hopeful moment. So I really liked that one. Other ones that stood out to me, I left my copy of the book right over on the other side of the room. I really should have grabbed it before we started. Other one, there's one by Tom King, where it starts off with, like, you know, Superman's a kid with Ma and Pa, and they go to this diner, and there's this new waitress, and then we just get a bunch of different scenes throughout, you know, Clark's life, as, like, this woman's growing older and older, but, you know, he always comes back to this Smallville diner, you know, as he's older, when he's come back to Metropolis, when Pa passes away, after he marries Lois, after Jonathan is born, and it's just, like, this really good little comic. Right, I praise Tom, even though I have very complicated feelings on Tom King, I did really like Superman Up in the Air, and I did really like this story as well. Right, find this lady who, you know, has worked at this diner for like 40 plus years at this point. You know, seeing Clark grow up as a kid to now have his own kids. It's very well done, it's very well written, it's sweet, it's heartfelt. I liked it. That was one of the ones that stand out to me. There's a Mixius Pitalik one, where, you know how, like, Mixius Pitalik always comes to, like, Earth to mess with Superman? It's the reverse. Superman goes to his 5th dimension just to mess with him. And that was kind of funny, you know. You see his girl, right? Because Mixius Pitalik is one of those, like a Roger Rabbit, where he's like a scrunkly looking guy who has like a 10 out of 10 Jessica Rabbit knockout girlfriend. And, right, Superman basically fixes him up with his girlfriend, like fixes their relationship, and that just pisses him off so much. That was a cute little one. There was a few others. There was a Bizarro one where it's like it's Bizarro's birthday and everyone's making fun of him. Again, I think it was like a Mixius Pitalik trick or something like that. And it's one of the... Can I be honest? I'm not a big fan of Bizarro. Like, his whole backwards speak thing, like, I get it. I get how it works. I don't really find it that interesting. I'm sure there are some stories that do it better than others. Right, like, I didn't really care for it in All-Star Superman. I didn't really care for it here. But I do like it, right? But this one ends on a happy note, where it's like, oh, everyone's forgot about Bizarro's birthday. Everyone's making fun of him. But then you find out it's all an illusion, and the real Superman comes in and gives him, like, a cupcake for his birthday. And it's like, yeah, that's a very sweet note to end it on. I like that one. There's a Crypto one about, right, Crypto the super dog landing on Earth and Clark getting his first dog. That was very good. There was a Sparky the super cat one, which is about them moving and, you know, the struggles of moving places with a cat that I liked. Any other ones that really stand out? There's a bunch of them. There's like 20 or 30 of them. Let me grab the book real quick. Let's see. Other ones that stand out. Oh, there's one about a little girl who tries to, like, there's like a wreck and she tries to, like, save Superman, and he's like, "Oh, get out of here," but he gives her like a piece of like scrap metal as like a memento, and the kids like don't believe her that like, oh, she saved Superman. And then Superman shows up and is like, yes, you were a hero, you know, you're a good person, because all the kids were picking on her. And then Superman asks to play like basketball with them, and it reminds me of that scene, one of the few good scenes in the DC universe, the cinematic universe, where at the end of Shazam, they're like, oh yeah, hey look, it's my buddy Freddie Freeman, I'm the superhero Shazam. But I didn't come alone. I brought a special guest, and it's Superman. Like, that's such a Superman moment. I really do like that scene. Right, that's a great end credit. I don't even think it's a post-credit scene. It's like the very end of the movie. It's like the final joke. That was very solid. Let's see, other ones that stood out. Oh, there's one where Superman is late for lunch with Bruce and Diana. That was kind of right. And how he's like, yeah, you know, Superman may take forever, but Clark Kent won't, right? Clark Kent cares about being on time. What other ones? Oh, there's a good one about he's a surgeon who, like, Superman has saved his life multiple times, and then one day Superman, like, falls out of the sky in front of him with, like, a shard of kryptonite in him, and the guy's able to, like, come in and, like, remove the shard of kryptonite and, like, save Superman's life. So now it's like Superman 4, this guy won. And then while they're, like, recording this, like, in the newsroom, a villain comes in and tries to kill Superman, and he saves Superman again. And it's like, yeah, you know, that's a good story, right? It's a lot of the stories in this book are all about, you know, hope, inspiration, how Superman inspires people to, you know, do better, and, you know, vice versa. The people inspire Superman to do better. It's a great anthology. But the two that I really, right, that I'm saving for the end here, again, I'm sure there's like a dozen others that I'm not mentioning, but the two that I really wanted to save for the end was, there's the one where it's Pa Kent, right, where he's, because part of Superman lore is that, right, Pa Kent was mistreated by his father, so he was not going to make the same mistake with Clark, you know, not passing on that generational trauma. And so, right, he makes sure, right, we see the story as he goes on, he makes sure to tell Superman, right, Clark, as a kid, that he loves him, how much he cares about him, that he's special and he matters, right? Make sure to remind him that, yes, he loves him. And then halfway through, Pa Kent passes away. And then it's Superman saying those exact same things to the people. God, can you... I'm literally tearing up just talking about this. Because, yeah. And it's right, it's just, I love you. You matter. I care. And yeah, because there was a thing on Twitter earlier this year, late last year, where someone made a comic that was like, you're not special. And like the entire comic was like this very like pessimistic thing about how, oh, you're not special. You don't matter. Right? In the grand scheme of the universe, you're just going to die without leaving an impact. And it was like this very nihilistic, very pessimistic thing. And, yeah, you know, fuck that guy. Like, you know, because he's wrong. And the response that the moment I knew he was wrong was someone I saw posted this comment, right, from this thing, where it's Superman telling you, hey, you're special, you matter, I love you. And, like, that's it. That's the only... I don't care, right? Nihilism, right? Nothing matters, whatever. Fuck that, right? That does nothing for us. As humanity goes, nihilism is useless. And, right, just Superman, right, saying you matter means so much more. And it's a great little thing. Just near the end of this book, it's just a great moment that, yeah, did get... I teared up. I don't think... I maybe cried once, but I teared up like multiple times, right? Where I was like on the verge of crying, but I think I only cried once. And that was it. Because, yeah, that's a great moment. Looking through this, any other ones that kind of stand out? Yeah, it's here it is. It's right. You are special. I love you. I'm proud of you. You are special. I love you. I'm proud of you. Yeah, and yeah, it's just such a hopeful little moment that I really did enjoy. There's any other ones that really stand out? Oh, there's a cute one about Jimmy Olsen trying to get the perfect picture of Superman, and then he leaves the lens cap on, but they instead get like this really like this like selfie of them just laughing about him leaving the lens cap on. That one's very cute. Oh, another one I had read before, you know, just people posting them on the internet, is the one about the convenience store being robbed, and it's Clark in like the convenience store lady, and the robber comes in, and Clark basically, not as Superman, just as Clark, talks him down, says like, hey, you know, you don't have to make this mistake. I know this is the first time you've done this. If you just give me the gun and walk away, right, everything will be okay. And yeah, that's the kid gives him the gun, walks away, and right, the lady's like, oh, you're my hero, right? You may not be Superman, but you're my hero, Clark Kent. And that's great. That's a great issue. Again, Superman is not Clark Kent. Clark Kent is Superman. And I think that does a great job at showing that. So yeah, that's another... I've read some of these before, because, you know, they get reposted online. But that's another great one. Oh, there's one about influencers, where it's like this guy is doing like a prank, or you know, something like basically it's Logan Paul, and Superman saves him. So he starts the like Superman Save Me challenge, where it's like he gets other influencers to like jump off buildings in Metropolis to get Superman to save them, and Superman just he saves this guy on like the second time, and he has like this real heart-to-heart with this guy about like, you know, there's so much I have to do. I have to go out, I have to protect people, I have to help people, and while I'm not going to force you to like take down your videos or stop your challenge, I'm going to ask you politely to do it, because, you know, you and people like you are getting in the way of me actually helping right people. Of course, it's put a little better than I just put it right there, but, you know, for a comic talking about, like, influencers and the dangers of social media and all that, I feel like it's one of the better takes I've seen. And yeah, I liked how that one ended. So yeah, another really solid one. And then, of course, the final comic in the book. So the entire book is, told in, black, white, red, and blue. So the final part is, it's this kid who's, he's a big fan of Superman, he looks up to him, and he's like, Superman can do anything, but he can't do this one thing, this one thing that really matters to him. And then Superman he comes home to his parents, Superman is doing a press conference, and Superman, in this press conference, admits that he reveals his secret identity. He comes out and says, I'm Clark Kent, I work for the Daily Planet. And this guy sees it, and is like, if Superman can come out, then I can come out. And he reveals to his parents that he's gay. And, he does, you know how, Superman pulls open his shirt to reveal the logo? He pulls open his shirt to reveal a pride flag, the gay pride flag. And he just tells his parents he's gay. And the book, this is the one time the book is in color, is him, revealing the pride flag, and then the following page of his parents admitting that they love him and accept him. And that was another fantastic moment. I feel like that's the perfect moment to end the book on. Your one bit of color is acceptance. And God, I'm getting choked up again. Just a great ending. A great ending to the book. I really enjoyed Red and Blue. Another fantastic Superman anthology of just good stories, There's some fun ones, there's some funny ones, there's some serious ones, there's some ones that make you cry. I'm really impressed with it. Is this the perfect book to end on? Maybe? I mean, I know I should read Kingdom Come at some point. I still wanted to read Peace on Earth, but I couldn't find a copy. But no, I feel like this, out of all the things I could have ended on, I feel like this is a great one. I'm glad I did all these Superman comics. You know, going from watching My Adventures with Superman to now reading all these different comics. A bunch of ones that are classic stories that I just never read before for any myriad of reasons. Yeah, no, Red and Blue was fantastic. Not every story is a 10 out of 10, but a 10 out of 10 story can show up at any time. And yeah, I think that's all I've got. I can't think of anything else. No TV, no movies, nothing like that. So yeah, I guess that brings us to the end. I guess let's hit up our slot machine. I haven't updated my slot machine tracker in a while. Give me a second. This is a Food Up ticket. I'm gonna guess it's this one. It might be that one, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. If I get another drink ticket tomorrow, I'll know for sure. So what is coming up here in the future? Again, I don't know when that Pikmin video's ever coming out. Man, that was something I wanted to have done weeks ago now. And just losing, and I could in theory do it in the Microsoft Clipchamp or whatever the fuck it's called, or I could learn Sony New Vegas, I guess, if I really wanted to. Man, can I be honest, between the two, I know Sony New Vegas is technically a better program that can do much more, I'm so used to Premiere that trying to use Sony New Vegas just breaks me. Because it's like, I know what I want to do, and I know exactly how I would do it in Premiere. I have no idea how to do it in New Vegas. Whereas Clipchamp, you know, is a lot more restrictive. It has a lot less tools. But at least I can kind of finagle it to get what I want. And, right, it's a little bit more intuitive because, you know, it's something that, like, Microsoft specifically designed for, like, influencers and whatnot. Yeah, see, that's the hood I want. I really like that hood, and that's a level 50 unlock. Oh, Little Bub was right there. But yeah, so I don't know when that's ever getting done, if that's ever getting done. But I do want to do that at some point, obviously. Other things coming up. Of course, we have the final Splatfest coming up in like 3 weeks. Before that, of course, we do have a big Salmon Run event. I know last week when I talked about Salmon Run, I was predicting the total was going to, we were going to have to get 333 million eggs. No, they actually revealed the total today. We have to get 700 million golden eggs. That's a nightmare. That sounds like a nightmare. But I mean, if it's a gold weapon rotation, which it is, I think that's totally possible. I'm super excited for the final Splatfest. The new Splatoon amiibo come out next week. They come out on the 5th, which is a Thursday. No, I picked them up at Best Buy. Knowing Best Buy, I won't get them for like a week after that. Because that's the one sucky thing about Best Buy is they take forever to actually get anything to you. Hey, it's William Lucifer. I have just stopped... Sorry. There's a bit in the Book of Bill where they refer to Bill Cipher as William Lucifer. And man, that's just been stuck in my head. Calling him... I just think that is so funny, calling him William Lucifer. It's kind of like how I call William Shakespeare Billy Shakes. Because I think that... It's the same joke, basically. Right? William Shakespeare is Billy Shakes, and Bill Cipher is William Lucifer. Or like how I would call Donald Trump Donathan Trump. Okay, admittedly I don't use that one as much. And I think that's a Last Week Tonight bit as well. But yeah. But yeah, no, final Splatfest is right around the corner. It looks like... So, a bunch of things have been leaked from, you know, new rewards for the new Splatfest. Some really interesting things, it appears like. The one thing I am interested in... some of the new headgear looks fantastic, right? If I'm being honest, some of the new headgear is great. But, supposedly the amiibos are going to allow you to visit the grand stage again. Because that was in the original Splatoon game. You can use the Callie and Marie amiibos to revisit the Splatfest concerts. And then they took that feature out of Splatoon 2. But it looks like they might be adding it back in Splatoon 3. So that's fantastic. I think we also got the final song, right? We got the track list for the Grand Festival. We got a few other things as well. Like, we got a big final song. I don't know. I'm excited. I am excited for past, present, and future. There are a few other tricks up their sleeve that, you know, they might be saving. But I think it's going to be really cool. Man, I'm just excited. What can I say? I'm excited for the end of Splatoon 3. It's gonna suck when it's over. But, you know, having got where we are, it's been a good time. Yeah, look at that. I think that hood just looks really nice. I like that it changes color based on the ink. And then, yeah, some of this gear I think I already have. Others, I don't really care as much. That's an interesting balloon. Charge him. Yeah, like some of the stuff I know I already have. That shirt's really nice. The Umibozu Road shirt. I've seen plenty of people wearing that, but that's 90. We're not getting to 90 in 24 hours. That's funny, the Salmonoid Snapper. I used to have one of those as a kid. But yeah, we're almost at the end. I don't think there are any new weapons in the new update or anything like that. Or at least if they are, they didn't say anything, so I don't think there are. So yeah, no, it's going to be a fun final Splatfest. But before the final Splatfest, the one thing I meant to get to that I don't know why I haven't talked about yet. So with Echoes of Wisdom coming out at the end of September, I want to do Link's Awakening before that comes out. And my plan actually for the moment is I want to do it on Sunday. So right, upcoming Sunday, September 1st, I think would be a perfect time to do Link's Awakening. I know the game like the back of my hand, more or less, so I think we will be able to do it in 24 hours. I legitimately think that, yeah, and not even 24 hours. I bet we can do it in less than 12. I'd be surprised. Honestly, we could probably do it in less than 8. Because I know I can do the first 3 dungeons in, like, I don't know, probably like an hour and a half. I can basically get halfway through the game in like 2 hours. So, right, I know the second half takes a little longer. I know that's nowhere as close to the speed run, but as like a casual player, that's not terrible. Oh, and that includes the color dungeon, I should say. Yeah, so I think we can do Link's Awakening in 8 hours. If not, somewhere between 8 and 12. I think that'll be a very fun stream. At the moment, I've kind of put it on Sunday of just like, I've got some time on Sunday. I've got the day off. Let's see if we can do it. I think that'll be very much some fun time. Because I really do like Link's Awakening might be my favorite Zelda game. If not, it's definitely in the top 3. I think I like it more than... Right, I used to say Majora's Mask was my favorite. I actually think Link's Awakening might have overtaken Majora's Mask. Okay, it definitely has. The real point of contention is Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I have no idea if I like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom more than Link's Awakening. I might. At least one of them I might. Which one? I don't know. It's definitely my favorite 2D. That's an easy. Which is kind of crazy. Right, I used to be a staunch defender of Minish Cap, and then I replayed Minish Cap in like 2019, and I was like, oh yeah, Kinstone merging. Oh yeah, the Temple of Winds. Ooh, I don't like this game as much as I remembered I did a decade prior. Okay, not a decade, but, a few years prior. Whereas Link's Awakening, I've already played like, last year alone, I played like 4 times. So, because I know that game really well and I really enjoy it. I don't know, I do kind of want to replay Tears of the Kingdom. Right after seeing my mother go through it all, I do kind of want to replay Tears of the Kingdom. But I think I'll wait. At least until I have like a lot more time. Because that's 100 hours right there. Because I want to... I don't want to do everything, but I definitely would want to do more than I did. So we'll just have to wait and see. But that's where I'm going to end off for tonight. Again, we'll probably be back on Sunday with Link's Awakening. And then after that, we'll be back for, the big run. The Grand Festival big run. And then after that, the final Splatfest. And then I have there's been a lot of, thought about, hey, once the final Splatfest is over, Splatoon 3 dies. We take it out back and give it the old Lassie treatment. I don't know if we're going to go that far, but I definitely think there will probably be some sort of change or metamorphosis after the final Splatfest. We'll just have to wait and see. But for now, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.